Okay.
all the haters are such insecure little bitches. Fucking little twats. Like, they're such little bitches. Okay. And this has nothing to do with her music. It has nothing to do. I mean, dude, she's one of the most famous people on the planet. Of course they're going to cut to her.
Right.
It doesn't have to do with music. It maybe has a little bit to do, but I think this is overblown. The fact that she's a female. People are all, because she's a successful female. A bunch of these guys don't like it. Yeah, there's a little of that. I'm not going to deny that. Here's what it is. It's tribalism, and she's anti-Trump. Welcome back to another episode of What Are They Going to Say Now? Jay and Tony, as always, here. And sorry, it's been a little bit. We've both been dragging distractions, etc. But this is a great time for a podcast. Yeah, we got a lot going on in the NBA. But first, we just got to go, Super Bowl preview with the Niners and Chiefs coming up. So
let's go.
That's a good place to start.
Yeah.
So it is on the record in this podcast before the season started. Who did I say would be in the Super Bowl?
I believe you said Niners Chiefs.
You're damn right. I had a bet too.
The rematch.
I had a bet. It already paid off.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was that. It wasn't who would win the Super Bowl. I bet who would be in it, and I said Niners Chiefs. So that thing paid off nicely.
What was the line on that, if you remember?
I got to go check.
Okay. Right.
It was decent because it was before the season started.
Right.
It wasn't crazy because it's not a crazy prediction, but still, you have to get two teams in there. So it was better odds than picking the Super Bowl winner because you have to get the two teams in the Super Bowl. So
right. True.
I guess I saw that one coming. I will say the Chiefs had an up and down season. There were times during the year where I was like, well, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. And to be fair, going into the AFC Championship game, I thought Baltimore was winning. Like I just thought they were rolling. I just didn't see them being beat, and so that was a little bit of a surprise to me.
Oh, I mean, you asked me a month ago, I would have said it's gonna be Niners Baltimore without a doubt, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But it worked out that way,
especially after how they beat us down in December. So
yeah, for sure.
But,
I mean, and there's a Mahomes mystique you can't deny.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, you get the postseason. You're like, do you want to bet against this guy?
He's just a different animal in the playoffs. I mean, I don't know what it is. So
maybe he's maybe he's starting to lay off in the regular season a little bit because he's waiting for the show. I mean, that's a real thing. We see it in the NBA all the time.
You can't go hard the whole year, right? Like if you're going out there and playing at that super high level and kind of burning yourself out, then playoff comes and you got nothing left. So it makes sense.
I mean, getting right into it. Look, we're both Niners fans. The Niners against Green Bay, bad first half, good second half. Against Detroit, horrible first half, amazing second half. They cannot do this against the Chiefs. Like, if you go down to the Chiefs like that, they're going to Mahomes and Kielce and Andy Reid, they will step on your throat.
Right.
So,
and it's going to be a lot harder to come back on them than those, previous two teams.
I'm going to come right out the gates here. I'm really nervous about the Niners defense.
Yeah. Same.
The run defense hasn't looked good all season.
Way better.
I've had issues with it. Yep. The Niners are actually 2-point favorites. I think that's wrong. I'm a Niners fan. You're a Niners fan. I don't feel great about this matchup, to be honest. I don't feel great about it with that defense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel. I wouldn't say I feel like it's going to be a blowout win. I think it can be a close win either way. I don't think either team's going to blow each other out. I feel like Kansas City is a very good team, and it's going to take a really good all-around game from the Niners. It's not going to be a second half, we can do whatever we want or play really bad the first half and just pull it out second half. No, it's going to have to be a complete game. But the Chiefs are beatable to me.
They absolutely are.
Right. It's not like
I don't feel
how would we ever do this?
I feel like it's a flip of the coin. I don't feel confident.
No, yeah.
I can see it
but that makes it exciting to me. I think that makes it's going to make for a really good game because
absolutely.
You don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not even going to make a pick. I'm saying it's a coin toss. Coin toss.
Okay.
That's my pick. Coin toss. Okay. I don't know. If the Niners play a full game, I got the Niners.
Yeah.
But I'm really, it's interesting. There was this ridiculous narrative. You can apply some of it to Shanahan if you want, but it was also like, oh, Shanahan and Purdy, no come from behind wins and whatever. Okay. Let me be very clear here. You can talk about Shanahan going back a longer track record. Purdy didn't have any come from behind wins because they were always winning.
Right. What's his record as a starter? I think
he's lost 21-5.
That's ridiculous. Right.
And one of those losses, they missed a game-winning field goal where he drove the team down against the Browns, and they missed the game-winning field goal.
That's right.
So it's like they haven't lost many games. There's not a lot of comebacks when you're just winning.
I'm the whole against Purdy narrative is just funny. Because after the Green Bay game, you had a lot of people coming out and just saying how he had a rough first half. He did, but I will say that he is unfazed, and when faced with kind of a difficult situation, he's shown that he's tough and that the guy can get it done in pressure situations, which is, to me, very key. Now, like you said, against a really good team, he's going to have to I would like to see him come out against Kansas City and start a game that way.
Strong, yeah.
Start strong. But that also has a lot to do with a lot of other factors. We got to see if we can get the run game going. Our defense, I think, kind of fuels our offense too, and the defense has not been great to start.
No, especially in the first half either. So
yeah. So it all kind of goes hand in hand. I think they're going to be hyped up. I think they're going to be ready to go. They have 2 weeks to kind of fine tune some of these details. The run defense, some of the coverage stuff, which has been really bad at some parts, and we'll see what happens.
And speaking of the run defense, that's my number one concern. The run defense for the Niners has not been good all year.
Yep.
Like the number of times we just get gashed and you're like, oh my God, that was 27 yards or whatever.
Right.
So there's two sides of this coin in that typically when you're getting gashed on the run, that opens up for a great quarterback like Patrick Mahomes to just chew you up outside the numbers.
Right.
Having said that, Kansas City without Tyreek Hill, their receiving core is not good.
It's not the same at all. Yeah.
So we'll see. The Niners have a depleted secondary. We'll see how that plays out. Obviously, Travis Kielce is the safety blanket for Mahomes because he's one of the best tight ends of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But tight ends are generally between the numbers. And that is actually plays into a strength of the Niners is we have Dre Greenlaw, and God, I'm blanking out. And Fred Warner, two of the best inside linebackers in the league. So hopefully they can neutralize that. It's going to be a really interesting matchup.
Yeah.
With the run and how that all works, because that's the thing about if you're gashing teams with a run up the middle, that exposes the sides, right? Like outside the numbers, right? Because you can't cheat your linebackers out to help, and that's how it ties together. But if we can have the other ward, Travarius Ward, lock down one side and just try and make them rely on Kielce, and I mean, it's going to be a battle. But
yeah,
so that's my number one concern for the Niners is the defense, and I don't know. I feel like for the Niners to pull this out, I think it needs to be a high scoring game. I think their offense needs to cook.
Yeah.
I like in a lower scoring game, I like the Chiefs. In a higher scoring game, I think I like the Niners.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
The problem is I think if you get into a gunslinging competition with Mahomes
is scary. Yeah.
So that's my one worry with that. But you're right. It might have to be a situation like that where we're just putting pressure on them to continue scoring. Right. And
on the other hand, this guy, Brock Purdy, led the league in yards per attempt, QBR, passer rating, deep balls, by far the best completion percentage in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Yards per adjusted attempt, which is actually the ultimate stat, by the way.
Right.
He's got all those numbers. I know he didn't look great in the first half of these last 2 weeks, but his second half against the Lions last week was elite. I believe he had 138 passer rating, threw for 170-ish yards, ran for 50-something more. He was just incredible in that second half.
The scrambles he had were so huge and something that was unpredictable that I think those actually changed the game.
Oh, because, they 100% did. 100%.
Because their defense was tightening up and, he was having difficulty kind of finding open areas. And when he scrambles for 25 yards out of that, when they think they have a sack or, have everything covered, not even just rushes, but he had a play where it was for sure sack. He should have lost 5 to 10 yards.
Right.
He ducked out of it and threw a bullet to the sideline. I think it was to Juszczyk, right?
Yes. Yeah, and he had the toe tip catch on the side.
That play, I was okay.
Incredible.
I was like, okay, if you're going to make plays like that, I don't know. I feel like it's really easy for people to look at Purdy and, his stature and there's things where you could look at him and say, oh, he's not a prototypical elite quarterback, right?
Right.
And you heard that narrative all playoffs so far. Oh, he's not in the same league as
or whatever.
He's not in the same league as Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and this and that. And first of all, he's in year 2.
Yeah.
He's in year 2. He could have gotten to the Super Bowl last year, but got injured.
Brock Purdy is 23 years old.
Right. So I'm just saying, what are we doing with these narratives of, basically saying he has no room to, if we're not saying he's at that level, he's proven that he belongs in that conversation, in the company of those quarterbacks.
Well, and it's people are goofy. That's so they get so far ahead of themselves. Okay, so look, right now, you say I can have one quarterback for next season only. I'll take Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Who can I have for the next 10 years? Well, it's still close because Mahomes is not that old yet either.
Right.
But my point is, Purdy's 23.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not to mention, he is absolutely elite at, and the reason, and I hate early comparisons to great quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Purdy reminds me of both Tom Brady and Joe Montana in terms of his footwork in the pocket.
Yeah.
He shifts, he slides, he scoots forward, he rolls out. His sense of the pocket around him, and also he will hang in and make the tough throw.
Yeah, he doesn't get phased.
We've seen that. He doesn't get phased.
Right.
His pocket footwork is elite.
Right.
I'm going to say flat out, he has the best footwork in the pocket in the league right now. Aaron Rodgers is really good that way too before.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. If you watch, he reminds me so much of Brady. Brady was slower than him and lumbering at times, but his footwork was masterful.
Elite. Yeah.
Yeah. Tiny pocket, but he would just shift enough, make that room for the throw, get the angles. He has that. It's the most underrated thing about quarterbacks.
Wow.
I know Lamar Jackson can roll out and be scary as hell.
Yeah.
But what can you do shifting around inside the pocket to create that extra 2 seconds to throw that ball downfield?
Right.
Right?
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Other people, I think Josh Allen's in that.
Mm-hmm.
In that.
Okay, so Josh Allen is not as shifty in the pocket, though. But
no,
I will say
he's a sling.
When you get him outside of the pocket, he had that 50-yard touchdown run a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
where you're like, oh, he was he's like a thoroughbred, just a horse out there running through. Right. And you're like, oh my god!
And his arm is crazy. I would say he is. Yeah. So
what I'm talking about is Purdy is too subtle for a lot of fans to appreciate what he's doing.
Right.
Like you see Josh Allen do that, and you're like, "Oh my god, he's like a horse." Like I said, thoroughbred. He's just like, "Oh, that's amazing." Purdy does this shifty slide stuff that is underrated.
Yeah.
Like Brady did too. Very much so.
Yeah.
Montana was very good that way. And that there's a reason a bunch of ex-players have said like, "Oh, he reminds us in the pocket of those guys."
Right.
It doesn't mean he's on their level or anything yet, but he's playing really well.
Right.
But it's such an underrated thing, just being able to like shift that pocket. Pockets move,
Right. Yeah, and being able to do that and kind of any way you can get more time in the pocket, it just gives you so much more flexibility as a quarterback to kind of find a quick dump off. If everything's covered, gives them more time to kind of, get around. He could find, McCaffrey in the flat, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there, he has so many options if he can be mobile. So yeah, listen, I think we're both in the same boat as far as the Super Bowl. We're happy to be in it. Have no idea what's going to happen. Just hoping for a good game, and I think they've got a shot. So
And the number one thing I'm frustrated with is like, put some respect on Brock Purdy, dude. Like,
I know, man.
Okay, anyone at this point who calls him a game manager, you either don't watch or you're just a hater. You're just a hater.
Yeah.
Like, are you an idiot?
Yeah.
Like, there's no. It's like he dominates every stat. He throws the ball down the field. He does all that stuff.
Yeah.
For me, it's like you're a casual. If you think that, you're a casual.
Yeah.
Or you have CTE because you got tackled too many times. Shout out Cam Newton.
Oh shit! I mean, there was a lot of people talking about Purdy.
I don't care if you wear a feather in your cap and dress up like Dick Tracy. You don't know what you're talking about, Cam.
Ryan Clark did a whole thing.
Sorry,
going
Cam Newton. I know you won MVP one year and then lost the Super Bowl. Brock Purdy put up a better season than you. Full stop.
Shit.
Full stop.
Take that.
He did.
Yeah. Hey,
Name me a metric. Purdy beat him in all of them. He's a hater. And I'll tell you what. Look, in certain sports, the ones we like in particular, let's say football and basketball, there's definitely some reverse racism. No one likes a 5'11" white boy out there dominating. It takes some time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's true. That's what I think I'm saying about the look. How he looks and how he
whereas Josh
he doesn't
Allen's
look like
okay. And by the way, I went race, but like Josh, okay, I should take race away, to be fair. I should say it's more about build. So like Josh Allen is like a 6'5", also white guy. So I should say it's not even race. It's like build and stature, whereas Purdy's slight.
He doesn't look like a stereotypical quarterback.
Yeah,
kind of like
so it's more about build and physical attributes than race. I should remove it completely, but yeah,
you're good.
Although I think there's aspects of that. We've seen it with Steph Curry being a light.
I was just going to mention him. Yeah,
light skin brother, right?
Yeah.
You know what's up,
and he gets a lot of hate. I think because of that, because of how he looks, and because
I think
of his
the NBA
background
is. I think the NBA is more that way than the NFL. But
agreed.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. I'm excited, man. I know we have it feels like I'm ready for this game to be now, and I'm like, we have another week and a half. Gotta just kind of,
It's always that way. It's always that way.
It's always that, especially when your team is in it. You're just like, you're just waiting for it, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna bring up the elephant in the room.
Okay,
let's talk about Taylor Swift
and
Kielce. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
I'm so tired, not of Taylor Swift getting shown on TV. Not at all. By the way, they did a breakdown on The Athletic. Like, she gets shown like 22 seconds per game or something on average. Like, it's not that much. That's very little.
Right.
It's like a quick cut. Her boyfriend is a Hall of Fame tight end.
Yeah.
She's one of those famous people on the planet.
Right.
Of course,
how many times do they show Jerry Jones during a Cowboys game? I mean,
more,
right.
way more.
That's what I'm saying.
How many times during the Lakers game did they cover the Jack Nicholson back in the day?
Right.
Spike Lee at Knicks games.
Right.
Spike Lee made headlines after one of those Knicks games in the famous Reggie Miller game. The Thanks Spike, right?
Yep. I don't have a problem with it.
No, and just people are such haters. But here's the thing. And I don't want to go too sidebar off of sports, but this ties it all together.
Okay.
All the haters are such insecure little bitches. Fucking little twats. Like, they're such little bitches. Okay. And this has nothing to do with her music. It has nothing to do. I mean, dude, she's one of those famous people on the planet. Of course they're going to cut to her.
Right.
It doesn't have to do with music. It maybe has a little bit to do, but I think this is overblown. The fact that she's a female. People are all, because she's a successful female. A bunch of these guys don't like it. Yeah, there's a little of that. I'm not going to deny that. Here's what it is. It's tribalism, and she's anti-Trump. Because a lot of these Taylor haters, when she was not political and didn't speak out, and she's out of Nashville, I mean, she's from Pennsylvania, but like out of Nashville, country, they all kind of assumed she was a quiet Republican or whatever. And then she came out fully like, fuck Trump.
Like fully. Yeah.
Fully.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because she's anti-Trump, all the hate, it's basically, it's like the Taylor haters, 95% of them probably have a MAGA hat in their fucking closet. Or, you know what I mean? They don't have to have a hat, but like, it's a pretty good overlap to the point that it's like, oh no, this is just tribalistic politics.
Wow.
And that's what it is. Yeah. And I'm 100% convinced. I don't know. I mean, okay, backing it up. Erin Andrews, sideline reporter. She has a podcast with Carissa Thompson.
Okay.
You know who she is, right? Also NFL broadcast. You would recognize her.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, they have a podcast called Calm Down. And I just put a comment on it, and she's talking about how, like, I don't know, the dads loving their daughters getting the football because of Taylor Swift and the Swifties or whatever. And I just put a very positive comment, like, yeah, like, I'm a dad Swiftie. My daughters love it, blah, blah, blah. Great stuff. It was a very positive comment, non-controversial. The amount of, like, hateful fucking shit that was responded to on Instagram on that comment, and was like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, wow. I said nothing controversial. I was just like,
gave your opinion.
And it's like, I was like, oh, right. This is 100% political. This is fully Trump bullshit. Right. Like, and I was just like, oh, that is
Snowflake dad.
Yeah. And just whatever. And it was just, and that's what it is. So it has almost nothing to do with Taylor Swift other than its politics.
Right.
And it's tribalism. And also, like, our country's fucking ridiculous. Like, get a fucking grip, you fucking losers. Seriously, fuck you. Like, I'm so over it. And hey, Niners fan. I like Taylor Swift. I like Travis Kielce.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know why? Do you know why I'm okay with that? Because I'm not a little cunt. Because, like, I'm rooting for my team.
Yeah.
She's rooting for her boyfriend and her team. All good. Right. What's up? And she's bringing more attention. Like, that's okay. It's all good.
Right. Well, Colin Cowherd had an interesting
he went off and I loved it.
Did you hear that? Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So he was basically saying that, they're making it, it should be about football and it's about this and that. And his point was, it's not just about football. If you're watching the Super Bowl or a playoff game, you're getting advertisements. You're getting, it's a show, man. So, I don't have a problem with, that being part of the show, or kind of like they have to find angles of things to talk about, because if you just focused on just the the snaps and the
and they've done this for years,
for years, yeah, right. So you think that if they have an angle like that to make something more interesting with like some outside interest stories like that, they're not going to take advantage of that? Come on.
I mean, she is literally. I mean, can you name someone on the planet internationally who's more famous? I mean, this is interesting because, like, I think about athletes.
Maybe Beyonce.
I would say.
I mean,
internationally, Beyonce's very close. Very close.
Yeah.
No, those two are right there. I know.
Yeah.
So, but those two, fine. Take both of them.
Yeah.
They are more famous than sports athletes, other than LeBron and Steph are huge because China is a huge population. They love basketball.
Right.
Shout out to Steph Curry, aka China Skyfucker. You know they call him the Skyfucker.
No, I didn't.
There's
know
a word in
that.
Chinese. They call Steph the Skyfucker because
Wow.
he rains down from deep. He's the Skyfucker.
I need a New Jersey.
Yeah, I know. It's a real thing. Check it out. But my point is, even beyond sports, like okay, Beyonce as well. Those two are bigger internationally because, like, you know, like, hey, Taylor Swift. They're talking about can she make it back from Tokyo for the Super Bowl and whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Point is like she just goes to Tokyo and sells out massive shows and you know everywhere international.
Yeah.
So it's like you expect the telecast to not cut over to her, like for
it's
20 something seconds a game. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like pull up your big boy pants and grow up. Like get over.
If it bothers you, if you see them cut to her, go in the kitchen, get a snack, whatever. Like just get over it. Like you said, I think that's
go watch some re-footage of Marjorie Taylor Greene or no, Lauren Boebert giving the guy a handy at a Beetlejuice show.
That's okay, but if you show me 5 seconds of Taylor Swift, I'm gonna lose my shit. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's goofy. So I'm really hoping Niners fans don't play into that shit because, like,
I haven't seen them as far as I've seen.
She was pretty big out here. They renamed. They renamed Santa Clara to Swifty Clara for 2 days.
Did they
officially.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
they did.
Okay.
Yeah, my daughter went.
Right.
My daughter went. Yeah.
See, my kids are a little past that. You know, they were a little bit older, I think, when Taylor Swift came around, and they just never really caught on to that wave. But
segments and West Coast, East Coast,
right,
whatever, you know.
But I don't have an issue with it, man. It's you know, it's funny.
People need to calm down. Like it's ridiculous.
Agreed in all aspects.
Jesus.
But so what else do we got?
But Super Bowl prop bets are great. So first of all, I don't like
some Swifty bets.
So I don't like this game. Niners are favored by 2.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't feel good betting on this game. But there's gonna be some crazy.
Win, big.
But the best part of the Super Bowl is the crazy prop bets.
Okay. Yep.
So I wonder if it's going to be how many seconds will she be on screen? That's going to be a prop bet.
Over under 25.
Now the Super Bowl has longer commercial breaks.
Right.
Everything's longer.
Right.
So if on average she's usually shown for like 20 something seconds during the game. They literally broke it down on The Athletic. It was like she's shown like 24 seconds a game. Calm down.
Wow.
Right. I think it's going to be like a minute. I think the over under is going to be like 55 seconds or something like that. It might be because there's so much dead time. That's going to be an interesting prop bet.
Yeah, it's possible.
I love crazy prop bets. Did you know of the last 10 Super Bowls, the team that won the coin toss has lost 9 of them?
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. Come on, Niners. Don't win that coin toss.
Yeah, I know. Also, like, teams that wear white have won predominantly over the last 25 years. But one of the teams that lost wearing white was the Niners against the Chiefs 4 years ago.
Okay. All right. Interesting there.
But they're going to be wearing
white.
Could go
wrong either way.
Yeah,
so they are going to. Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
They can get back to the
break
trends.
the curse.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. You have to update us if you make any crazy prop bets.
I will. Yeah.
I'll
probably do something.
Was it last year for the Super Bowl when you made the prop bet, the octopus?
Jalen Hurts, the octopus.
Right.
Best bet of my life. That was amazing.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we're looking for the next octopus.
That was a winner. That was an all-time bet right there.
Absolutely.
The octopus bet.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tom Tolbert, KMBR, who put that on my radar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tommy.
Yeah.
He's good, man. Have you ever listened to? Oh, I'm sure you have. But the Tim Roy and Tom Tolbert doing their basically calling the games live.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I have no slander against the Warriors TV broadcast, but sometimes listening to those guys is a lot of fun, man. Tim Roy he's just a legend, man.
Tolbert's awesome.
I
have a Tolbert story.
Okay.
This is 2010.
Former Warrior, by the way. Yep.
Former Warrior.
Yeah.
Bay Area.
Run TMC legend.
Yeah. Former Warrior, Bay Area, KMBR broadcaster for years and years, Nelly guy.
Yeah.
He, 2010 San Francisco Giants playoff run.
Okay.
and a couple of buddies and I, we go see the Giants play the Phillies for the NLCS.
Yeah.
And, there's all the bars and stuff outside the stadium, and you can kind of wrap around, and it's all crazy chaos, and, it's all fenced in, and you can grab a table. So, like, in this case, just my buddy and I, just one of us, actually. And we're just doing shots of tequila shots and stuff, and Tolbert walks by.
Oh, shit.
Like, Tolbert, what's up? And, like, he ends up doing, like, tequila shots with us. And,
no way. Wow.
So, and then we talked to him for a minute, and he was a good dude. So,
did you get a picture with him, or was it just not, the vibe wasn't right for that?
It's 2010. I didn't have an iPhone yet. I had some janky other things, so it just wasn't. So we didn't get a picture. But
sometimes it's better. It was more about
it was just the experience, and he was awesome. He's like, let's go.
Was he like crazy tall? Like when you saw him, were you like, holy shit, that's Tom Tolbert?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's what? Probably 6'8", 6'9", something like that.
Yeah. He's tall.
He's got to be. Wow.
Yeah. But cool dude all the way.
That's awesome, man. That's somebody who I figured you'd want to have drinks with.
100%. Well, he does his like beer reviews and stuff.
He's a big beer guy. A big beer guy. Yes. So.
Yeah, but he did the tequila shots with us right before the game.
Nice.
It was awesome. Good guy.
Shout out to Tom Tolbert, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And the Giants won.
There you go. Hey,
that was the first one. Worked. That was the first one. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And then it was the even years, right?
10, 12, 14. Yeah, exactly. So this is 10. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Nice. Speaking of Tom Tolbert and the Warriors.
Yeah, let's go to basketball. Let's go to basketball for sure.
Yeah.
So you run with it. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, it's been a wild ride with the Warriors, man, all year. I know it's been a while since we talked, but
weird season.
The ups and downs, and the downs have been so down. It's like blow this whole thing to smithereens, trade everybody.
Draymond was suspended again, and all that.
Right, yeah, that whole thing.
Wiggins playing like trash until recently.
Really, really weird. Wiggins, 2 years actually, not even just this year. Last year was weird too with him, with the whole, excused absence thing, and
he was actually fine until the excused absence, but then after that he was bad. Right, so it's been like whatever. Yeah.
Well, I think wasn't the beginning of that year the COVID stuff where he didn't want to get the vaccine.
No, that's 2 years ago, and we won the chip. So.
That was talking last year. Okay, sorry, yeah.
Sorry, last year he had the like family issue.
Right. Yeah.
And I feel like he wasn't the same after coming back from the family issue. It was really just a health thing related to his dad. Not to downplay it.
Right.
The way it was treated, we all thought it was going to be something
well, there's a lot of rumors and
Yeah, I don't it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. The first third of the season, dog shit.
Almost to unplayable levels.
One of the worst players in the league.
His plus
Fortunately,
minus,
not as bad as Jordan Poole. How's that going, Washington?
Ooh, not great.
No matter what you're going to say about Dunleavy, the Warriors exec who took over, Mike Dunleavy, he got us out of that Poole contract.
Hey, he's done pretty good in the draft, too.
Yeah.
Pajemski and Trace Jackson Davis. So
yeah, so I know they've both been great, and also we had the big blowout. We haven't really talked about it, where Kuminga was okay. The Warriors played Denver.
We got to talk about that. Yeah,
the Warriors played Denver. Kuminga was the best player on the floor.
He was amazing.
At least one of the best players on the floor. Yeah. It was very obvious. And then he doesn't play the last 18 minutes of the game.
Yep.
And he put Steve Kerr on blast through sources or whatever after saying, I don't know if Steve Kerr believes in me and whatever, and this can be right for my development and whatever. Yeah. Credit to Steve Kerr. Now, at the time, Steve Kerr didn't fully acknowledge that. And he also talked about how the plus minus with him and Wiggins on the floor is horrible. 2 points on this. First, that's because Wiggins has been dog shit. So Wiggins is shitty with anybody on the floor.
Any lineup with him was struggling. Yeah.
He literally had Wiggins was one of the worst 20 in the league at the time for plus minus just anybody. So I think it has nothing to do with Kuminga.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, quietly, Kerr just started giving him more minutes.
Yeah.
He now has 7 straight games with over 20 points a game. The other night, he went off against Philly. He had 39 minutes, most on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And Kuminga has arrived.
Yeah.
He's arrived. I would say he's going to be in the All-Star mix next year. Like, he has arrived. Well, it's tough with that position. But, like, my point is he's getting to the up. Like, he has arrived. He's really young still. What is he, 22? 23? Like, he's really young,
I believe.
Is he still? Yeah, I think he's 22. But
he might be 22.
The point is, he's still really young. He has arrived.
Yeah.
He has arrived.
Yeah, and I think, it's hard for a coach to trust a player. A player can have tremendous upside and kind of overlook some of the thing, if they're not giving you every single checkbox that you're looking for from, your star players. I get that from Kerr, that he's a vet guy. He likes knowing that he can count on his guys to do the right things on the floor. But Kuminga, to me, and it's been this way longer than Kerr's been giving him the minutes he's deserved. Kuminga, to me, it has been someone this year where I think has been someone you have to have him on the court.
Yeah,
he's
starting every night now. I mean, he's.
But I guess my point is, I think Kerr waited too long for it.
I agree, and that's where it came.
It's tough. It
came to that. That's why it came to that breaking point, though.
Yeah, and I think if had he not done that, had Kuminga just kind of taken that, having sat out for those 18 minutes and then losing that game and just kind of said, oh, well, I'm just going to maybe try and find what else the coach wants. I don't think we would have gotten to this point where he kind of forced Kerr's hand and said, hey, like if you're not going to use me and
trade
like
me.
I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, like he spoke out, and Moody had a similar situation. And,
by the way, Kerr comes off super mellow, but he's a hard ass.
He is.
He's a total hard ass. He would say absolutely I am.
Right.
Like he's chill, but he's a hard ass.
Yeah.
Credit to him. He dug in for a little bit, maybe publicly, but then his actions have been like, yeah, okay, and then now he's running with it. So credit to him for making the adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
And also these bandwagon Warriors fans who are like, fire Kerr, and it's like, shut the fuck up.
Right. What did we do before Kerr?
Shut your whore mouth.
Right.
Like, if you've been a Warriors fan for a long time, you're like, that motherfucker gets a long-ass leash. Long leash. That's like the newer, like, Spurs fans. Like, get Pop out of here. It's like, bro, Popovich? Are you kidding? Right. Shut the fuck up.
I think it's okay.
I hate this, like, what have you done for me lately? And it's like, this shit's a marathon, not a sprint.
That's the world now, no. That's the world now, yeah. No, I feel like he does deserve a very long leash.
Very long.
I feel like, and I feel like part of the problem is that he kind of like, the Splash Brothers, this kind of, the Warriors dynasty basically was ushered in by, of course, Steph, Clay, and Draymond, but really Kerr coming in and using them correctly.
Yeah.
So, which is completely understandable.
Because Mark Jackson was driving us crazy.
Yeah. I mean, he was just doing ISO ball and
he was driving us nuts.
Yeah. And Draymond wasn't even starting at that point, which was
right.
It was David
was
Lee
young,
was the star.
He was younger and
But Kerr coming in and really finding ways to utilize them and kind of finding a formula that worked. That was all his doing, basically. I would just say I feel like some of the issues with why he's not trusting young guys and why some of the lineup issues that have been happening is because he's loyal almost to a fault to the guys that got him to this point, right? I mean, you look at the core.
I agree.
Yeah, like it's hard to turn your back and say, Clay, we love you. Like, you are a pillar of this franchise. You're going to be a Hall of Famer, this, that, and the other. But, dude, you don't got it right now.
One, the other thing
sometimes you have to say that.
Clay is one thing. The Wiggins thing has been interesting.
Yeah.
And I have divergent opinions on this, and I'm not sure how I even feel about it. So let's be honest. Like, until the last couple weeks, Wiggins has been trash.
Yeah.
He's been trash.
Right.
Again, one of the worst plus minuses in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Just trash. Like, and I've seen him quitting on plays, and I was like, what are you doing, dude? Like, and there's no denying that. And Kerr is super loyal, and he's like, Kerr's thinking for us, Kerr thinks in terms of championships. He's like, I don't give a shit if we like lose in the play-in round, if what we're doing had no potential to like beat real teams, and do you know what I mean? He's shown that mentality. We've seen it. And you could say it's to a fault, but also like I like that mentality, because he's like, we got rings, and man, like I don't give a shit about getting exited in the second round,
right?
Like, right? So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So it's a trade-off. So he's like, look, the only way, and we have group text messages, you and me and a bunch of friends, Warriors fans. We're like, fucking Wiggins, dude, like bench him. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But Kerr also knows, he's like, well, we're not going to do shit unless Wiggins puts this together.
Yeah.
And so Kerr, as frustrating as it is game to game, he also knows, he's like, well, look, the only way we're really doing anything is if this guy gets it back together.
Right.
Otherwise, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And so it's tough medicine. It's tough love. Like you got to. So credit to him. I mean, he's a really smart guy. Like people talk like he's an idiot sometimes. You're like, well, think on that different level, and that's how he's thinking.
Yeah.
Now, has he sometimes overly relied on veterans?
Definitely.
In that mentality, 100%. That's a fair fault. I think he would admit that's a fair fault. So it's a trade-off. So having said that, Wiggins is coming around.
That's what I was gonna say. If the result is, I will say, Wiggins playing great, and kind of them figuring it out, then it's worth it.
Then you're going to be like, oh, Kerr held tough with it and dealt with a lot of shit.
Right.
Having said that, the Warriors are 4 games under 500, so let's stop, fucking around.
Yeah. I feel like that record is, it's always talked about. It's always
we've lost a lot of close games with the worst free throw differential in the league.
Close games.
I don't want to get into this
in a row. Like,
I don't want to get into this conversation too much, because I really hate blaming refs and officials. I really hate it. But the Warriors have the worst free throw differential in the league by a huge margin. Okay.
Part of it's how they play.
For those listening who don't know, the Warriors have given up. Okay, Warriors opponents have shot 500 more free throws this season.
Wow.
Than they have.
Right.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
We're just at like the half mark.
Yeah.
We have the All-Star break coming up.
Right.
Something, and by the way, don't give me this, they're a jump shooting team bullshit, because no, they're in the paint in those games, and they're still getting ratioed. Like, it's fucked up. I don't know what's going on. I don't even know. Whatever.
Yeah.
But that's just a stat. It's a true stat. I'm going to move on from that, but it's fucking frustrating when you're watching it happen.
It's not only the Warriors either. You're hearing this year about there's a lot of complaining about officials. Anthony Edwards had in a win, by the way, just had a discussion, because there was a blatant foul on a dunk that he had by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah.
Not called. You know, they after the game, the league's 2-minute report didn't say that was a mistake in any ways, and there's been a lot of it seems to me even more talk this year for some reason. I'm sure there's been other years where there's been a lot of talk too, but there's a lot of inconsistencies.
Just they're not okay, and this ties into the other topic I want to bring up, NBA wise, is the point scoring. Okay, we're getting all these like 60, 70 point games.
Yeah.
And I know there's a ton of talent in the league, but there always has been. You can't play fucking defense. I mean, Luka goes for 70 something, right? Then Embiid does it. And these are very talented players. I'm not taking anything away from them. But you can't play defense. Like they're just calling fouls on everything now.
Yeah.
And like the new stat, and I would have to go look this up, but I promise you it's a more interesting look at like who had a real killer game, is how many points did you get without free throws? Like Curry, I know Curry had a 60-point game, 60-something point game with like 4 free throws, not Crazy. 17 free throws.
Right.
I'm not putting down like those other games. They were playing really well. I actually saw them both.
Mm-hmm.
But we have this scoring flurry because you can't play any defense.
Right.
And just the free throws are out of control.
Yeah.
And Adam Silver doubled down on it, was like, well, the game's more aesthetic now. And it's like, fuck you. Alien boy. He looks like an alien, dude. Let's be honest. Like,
alien boy.
Like,
I like that.
I mean, he looks like an alien. Okay.
He may not be from this planet.
Let's play some defense. Can we let them play some defense? All this ticky-tacky shit, it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I feel like they do these mandates, you know, before seasons of, we're going to change this and that.
And it lasts for 2 weeks.
Right. And it seems like they almost course correct, and it goes right back to, you know, listen, I think that a lot of changes that they've made from the way the game was played in, for instance, the 90s, where it was, you know, games in the 80s and 90s, you know, final scores and stuff.
Like,
I think a lot of
overly
the
aggressive.
Right.
Oh, I agree. That like some of that stuff, like the Detroit
throw
Pistons
it down to the
stuff,
center and let them back down in the paint for 10 seconds. Like, come on. But
and actually, mid 2000s Detroit Pistons again too. Like,
right.
They lined it up after that because it was not very fun to watch.
I understand all of that. I just think it's gotten to a point now where it's the other way, you know, and
right.
People like Draymond and, you know, other people have had complaints about that too, where, you know, it's just nothing favors them in the league anymore. Basically, if there's going to be any call, it's going to be against the defensive player. They don't even look the other way on this. So, I don't know. I mean, it's I would say that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you keep going. You would say
no. I was going to say I think the Warriors have had a lot of other issues. Like I think their record is kind of where they're at. Like I don't think they've been like, they should be 5 to 10 games above 500. I think their record is who they've been this year. But
by the way, so the officiating issues with the free throw discrepancies, I mean that's a difference of like 2 wins or 3 wins.
Right.
Like
we'd
they're
be
still under 500. Yeah. So.
Right.
They have other issues. I'm not blaming the rest for that.
Yeah.
The other thing is a thing, but that's not the excuse either.
Okay. Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Just trying to think of some other league stories.
So talking about numbers, let's talk about the number 65.
Okay. 65.
65 is the minimum number of games that you have to play to qualify for awards and All-NBA
Interesting. Okay.
Obviously, the source of this was they're tired. The league is tired of too many players skipping too many games. You want All-NBA, you want this and that, whatever. Play 65 games out of the 82 game schedule, which is like 80-something%, I think. I forget the exact number. I like that they did that because there's kind of a weird thing where so much is built up on per game average. So a lot of times maybe a guy's a little tired on a back-to-back, and instead of just playing like 15 minutes because it's tired the next day, but that's going to mess up their per game averages, they'll just sit altogether or play, right? And that's a weird balance. Yeah, I think the 65 and Tyrese Halliburton, who we're both a big fan of, traded from Sacramento over to Indiana. Also, like, most improved player this year, by the way, but he's going to maybe miss too many games for that, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's
been great.
shooing for that award, but he may not qualify. He was complaining about it. And I like the purpose of it, of the 65 game limit. I think they should take it down to like 82 games a season, right? Take it down to like 61 or 62. So if you miss more than like 20 games of your teams, then sorry, but the best ability is availability, as they always say, right? 65 is a little harsh, so maybe just scale it back a bit.
Yeah.
But I don't really have a problem with it either. That's the underrated thing too. You look back at Jordan, he was like, you look at Jordan's game played, it's like 82, 82, 82, 82, 82, 82, 80. In his late 30s to almost 40, early 40s, it was like 80 games, 79, 80.
It's crazy.
Like, yeah. I know it's a different game now too, more perimeter defense, running around. It is harder, to be fair. But still, like, he logged those games.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting debate. I don't know. I don't know where I land on it because, people get injured, man. People get injured. Yeah. And, if you have a freak injury that causes you to miss, say, 20, right, let's say like right at that range, right? 20 games now where, where that would leave you out of those awards. Like, is that fair? If you are destroying the league or you have an amazing season for the other,
right,
62 games, is that fair to have that blatant of a, there's no room for nuance on that. It's just kind of
and this came up the other night because, look, I think we both agree that at this point in the season, Joel Embiid is the MVP.
Yeah.
Like, his per minute numbers are insane.
Ridiculous, yeah.
He's averaging like 36 points a game. Like, his per minute it's crazy. Even just per game, I think it's 36 points. Like, he's on fire. And then, he dodged a game against Jokic, which it wasn't a good look, but I actually think he was legitimately banged up. But he's done that a couple times in the last few years, so that's not a great look. Regardless,
against Jokic,
he then played against the Warriors the other night. And he wasn't right. You
Shouldn't actually tell
his knee was bugging him.
Yeah.
And so did he do this because he wanted to? I mean, he got MVP last year.
Yeah.
So it's not like he doesn't have one. So I don't know. But did he play because he was worried about that 65 threshold? I don't know.
Yeah.
But then he hurts his knee. And it was a fluke play. He was on the floor. Kuminga fell on his knee. It wasn't dirty. It was just fluky, right?
Yeah.
Did that play into it? I don't know. I didn't hear his post-game comments on the matter. He's probably not going to do that, but
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how to feel about the whole thing. So I kind of like the limit, but I think take it down to 60 games because there's some dumb stuff. I think you mentioned it offline. We were talking off podcast. We were talking like Gobert beat Draymond for Defensive Player of the Year when he played like 51 games and Draymond played like 77.
Right.
And it's like, what is this shit?
Right. That's understandable.
Yeah. And so I get
you'd be frustrated.
Yeah. So maybe take it down from 65 to 60. I agree there needs to be a threshold. And Halliburton's big issue is, Halliburton he was already a great player.
Mm-hmm.
You would say he was the breakout player of the year before he got injured, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Leading the Indiana team, his numbers, like he's been.
I still think he's in the running for that, even with the injury. If he comes back and
Halliburton took a leap.
Yeah.
And so the awards are one thing, but it also affects all NBA.
Right.
Now, all NBA positions affect contracts specifically. Like there's all those clauses where if you have this many all NBAs, you automatically qualify for the max or the super max,
right?
And all that stuff. So we're talking real money now,
yeah.
And that's where it gets tricky. So it's like maybe for some of the awards make it 65, but for all NBA make it like 58. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe separate it. It is really goofy that something that's voted on by people can impact specifically how much money you're even allowed to make.
Yeah. Well,
it's not like it's a free market.
Right. That's interesting, too, is that some of the players now...
I think that's why Halliburton's upset.
Yeah.
Because he's like, come on, dude. Like, I would get a full max deal for sure in LNBA or whatever.
Some of the players are kind of pushing back on that now and saying, I don't think they really realized kind of how big a deal that would be as far as, that meaning you can miss out on big money, just a free thing, so...
The players did a really bad job in this last CBA. It was not a good CBA for them.
CJ McCollum, what were you doing?
Yeah,
buddy?
we've talked about a couple other aspects of it. The salary cap and all that, and how it worked out. And not great.
Right. So it's interesting. What else do we got? Oh, speaking of all NBA and people having votes, and maybe some people having votes where they shouldn't have votes. Fucking John Hollinger.
Oh yeah.
Fuck that guy, man.
Okay, little background on John Hollinger. And I have beef with him going back a while ago, and so do you.
Yeah. Former Grizzlies GM.
Okay, so backstory: John Hollinger, analytics guy.
Yeah.
So John Hollinger created PER, player efficiency rating. It's an okay stat, but it gives almost no respect to defense and that side of the ball, which is half the game. It's not a horrible stat. You look at who's having the best seasons, they're usually up high in PER, so it's not horrible. Right. And to his credit, he acknowledged that the stat is flawed. It's just used universally now, and he even was like, yeah, it has flaws. It's not the be-all, end-all, right? So, credit there. 2 years ago, Mr. Basketball Expert said the Warriors would win 38, 39 games. Instead, they went on to win the chip. And just, I've questioned his judgment for a long time. But so more recently, you take it from here.
Well, basically, he, wrote a column. I knew there was going to be something stupid in it because every time this guy writes some long form stuff, I'm like, what is he going to say that's going to be usually anti-Warriors?
He's a Warriors hater. He's a Warriors hater.
Anti-Warriors.
We clowned his ass so hard 2 years ago. Yeah.
Right. and going back to, the Grizzlies series of past too, where we smacked them up, on their home court and things. So there's a lot of history there with him. But basically, he, Steph didn't get voted in to the All-Star game to start, which,
I'm actually okay with that.
Yeah, I understand it.
Because you can't. I mean, SGA.
Yeah. Should LeBron have been voted in based off of this year? Probably not. Like if we're talking about, older.
Yeah.
Anyways, he didn't get voted in as a starter. So then, people are kind of going with their reserve picks, right? Their bench all-star people.
Yeah.
And of course, John Hollinger's saying, "Oh, well, this is such a hard decision, and this and that, but I'm gonna have to leave Steph Curry off." And he gave Murray from Denver the last spot. And I just said,
he's playing this alongside Jokic. Like, get the fuck out of here.
He is not having a better year than Steph.
No, he's not.
I know what their record is, but what are we doing here?
This is not hating on Murray at all.
No, not at all. But you're an idiot.
Yeah, he is.
Is there anyone else in the media, even other, Warriors haters who are going to leave Steph off that list? I don't see it. I just think he's trolling. He knows it's going to get clicks and going to get him,
Do you know how much Curry would love to be playing with Jokic right now?
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Dude, he's 35 and he's still every team that comes in, he is their number one priority. What are we doing here?
It's goofy.
So anyways, and we're giving him what he wants by even responding to it, but he's an idiot. He's a clown.
We had to bring up how much he's clowned himself.
Yeah. And honestly, The Athletic,
he wrote a little piece on The Athletic trying to excuse about how he predicted the Warriors to have a losing record, but then they won the championship, and it was it was such clown shit.
It's like, no, you messed up. You don't know what
Well,
you're
it was also dumb because the prior season to that,
remember
the Warriors had gone through a lot. Yeah. But the last 20 games of the year, the Warriors had gone 15-5, had the best record in the league.
That's when Poole was balling out.
And that's when Curry said, "You don't want to see us next year."
Mm-hmm.
And then Hollinger puts them sub 500, and you're like, "Do you even watch basketball, dude?" I was like, "That's some clown shit." Yeah. So clowns are gonna clown, and he's still clowning.
Clown's gonna clown. Clown of the week.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm totally fine with Curry not starting the All-Star game. Yeah. You can't tell me SGA's in the MVP hunt.
He's been great.
So I'm okay with that. And
if you tell me he's not one of the all-star reserves and hasn't
That's
been
ridiculous.
and it
That's
still
ridiculous.
isn't at an elite level. Like, no, stop it.
Yeah.
You know?
So,
but real quick, I know we didn't. This wasn't on our rundown, but also I'm excited for the Steph Curry versus Sabrina Ionesco 3-point shootout.
Yeah, they're making it interesting.
Listen,
I like it.
Did Steph have to do that? Like, basically, there's no upside for him. If he beats her,
if he
loses,
it's gonna be
If he loses, you got beat by a woman, this and that. But I just love that he's up for for something that's good for the league, right?
Yeah.
For something that's going to promote women's basketball.
That's also
he's
a guy
always doing the right thing.
That's also he's a guy with two daughters too.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But hey, we can't get LeBron in one dunk contest though. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
At this point, he might get hurt.
No, I know. I'm saying through his history, he never did one dunk contest.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Remember how big the dunk contest used to be?
I'm just saying.
It used to be such a thing. It used to be such a thing.
Yeah.
The Levine, I remember. I think about Dwight Howard's Superman cape over the car.
Yeah.
Blake Griffin too. Did he go for the Kia car? Or I forget. Or Ray?
No, yeah.
I also think about white boy Brent Barry from the free throw line.
That's right.
Was he the first white guy to win the dunk contest?
That is a great question. I don't know.
Also, Shorter did a free throw line dunk, and one that also was Spud Webb.
Yeah.
Spud 5'7", won the dunk contest.
Spud was
5'7", and he won the dunk contest.
Yeah,
because his dunks look so insane.
Yeah. Well, did Nate Robinson win too? I think Nate Robinson won.
Maybe, yeah.
And he was. I think he dunked over Dwight Howard, didn't he? Maybe not in the dunk contest. I don't remember.
Who else won? Aaron Gordon. He won one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it used to have
Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine. That seemed like it was bringing it back, and then
and then it just kind of petered out. Yeah, I know.
That's what it is. But I'm excited for that 3-point shootout, at least with the two of them. So
no, I think that's great. It's more interesting.
It'll be good.
I'm way more interested to see that.
Absolutely.
So
what else? NBA. LeBron's trying to get Darvin Ham fired.
He tries to get everybody fired.
I know, but it's funny. It's not. It seems like the fans there too are like, get this guy out of here, because they're having an off year too, man. They're having a bad year.
And they looked really good in the playoffs last year too.
They did.
That was their thing.
They looked pretty good the other night when the Warriors were playing them. That was a fun game.
Yeah, we're gonna come back harder with the NBA after the Super Bowl. We'll come back. Our next episode will be after the Super Bowl recap. Yeah. And then we go hard NBA from there out.
Nice.
We've been slacking.
Yeah.
So
there might be some stuff to talk about with trade deadline and stuff like that too, right?
We've had stuff going on. I had long COVID. That didn't help.
Oh yeah. You feeling better now though a little bit?
No,
still dealing with some side effects?
No, I'm better, but it lingered forever.
Oh,
it lingered and I felt better, but then it whatever. Anyway, and
that's real stuff, man. So,
yeah, it's not fun. So it's all good. So we'll get back on more of a regular program.
Sounds good. Go Niners.
All right, man. Go Niners.
All right. All
right.
Soon.
Thank you for listening, everyone. Please subscribe, leave comments. I look forward to hear from the Kielce Taylor Swift haters. And
it's coming.
I know it's coming. Yeah, I know. Deal with it, you little bitches.
We out.
All right, we're out.
Later.